Yeah? Cool. Okay. It's happening? Not yet. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, monkey. I swear. I swear. It's coming. It's coming any moment now. There it goes. I see the red line happening, and boom. Nope. Oh, 13 seconds, 14 seconds, 15 seconds, 17. All right, here we go. Come on. There it is. Yes. Finally. Shows up and running. Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another government shutdown brought to you by yet another Republican majority. So, government shutdown mainly because Democrats are refusing to do away with subsidies for health insurance, which on average would raise your premiums by about 75%. And if you were in particular red states like Alaska, West Virginia, Wyoming, your rates would raise by over 300%. So imagine paying for a family of four for really crappy insurance $1,000 a month and suddenly finding yourself paying $4,000 or more a month. That's basically what the Democrats are fighting for in Congress. Now, the Republicans are blaming the Democrats for the government shutdown, but the Republicans own the majority in both houses, the presidency and the courts, and have the votes, have the people necessary to pass the budget, but their own Republican members will not do that to their constituents. So it seems to be that this is quite the stalemate and of the Republican doing. They could just keep the subsidies to make your health insurance much cheaper than it would be, but they won't. Instead, they want to give giant tax cuts to rich people. They want to do away with regulations. They want to do grift and graft and everything else, and they're going to try to blame Democrats for it. But this is them. It's on them. So, when your Social Security checks don't come, etc., that's on the Republicans. Anywho, right as I finished my show yesterday, news came out that oh great, now it's freezing. I'm freezing right now. I've got really terrible. All right, well, hopefully you're seeing what I'm doing here. The internet seems to be quite terrible. One sec, let me see if there's anything I can do. Well, yeah, I don't know if I can do anything, but all right, I'm just gonna be fuzzy today, I guess, to cover my wrinkles. Soft lens, soft focus. The HBC, the DK Butterfly versus HBC 16B case was dismissed with prejudice after the court was shown sealed evidence from another lawsuit, Ryan Cohen's lawsuit, that showed that the HBC was not in the wrong on this. And their argument the entire time was, they're not our shares, we're just a proxy. A proxy for whom? I don't know. I don't know. Proxy for whom? I will guess Ryan Cohen. That's my guess, but it's all just conjecture. And my guess is it's the same sealed information that was in the Ryan Cohen case. Why the courts ruled that they couldn't pursue all sorts of claims against Ryan Cohen, and essentially that case should get tossed as well at some point, or settled, one or the other. But those cases out of the way, please, just pay us. Next to that, we have instructions going out to the DTC for the warrant dividend on GameStop. And it appears if you buy stock options prior to the 3rd, for execution on the 3rd, you will qualify for the warrants. And if you buy options after that, for later dates, like, so you buy options, say tomorrow, for later dates, they will include the warrants as well. So you will get the warrants for your options. So you get 10 warrants and 100 shares calculated into that sucker. So you bought a little while ago when implied volatility was lower. Good for you. Got some decent price action on GameStop today. Yeah. Red Sox won yesterday. Dodgers won yesterday. Anything else to add, Monkey Butt? No, just dog in a blanket. Just dog in a blanket. Okay, so Shall I hit the intro button? Shall I?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Right back over.
2, 1.
Yeah, you should have reminded me, but you're asleep.
Houston,
Okay.
we have a problem.
All right, turning off one of the intros, turning off the other intro, because that one was left on from the outro. And I forgot to talk about Russia real quick. The Ukrainians have destroyed over 38% of the refining capacity of the Russians. They don't have fuel going out to all sorts of oblasts right now. It's so bad that Russia has actually upped exports because they just upped crude oil exports because they can't refine it. They got to send it somewhere. Their storage capacity is gone. They're now having to import refined fuels from other countries, hoping that will make up for the slack, but the infrastructure isn't there to truly get that much refined gasoline and diesel into Russia. Winter is coming, man. They've already had some giant snowstorms across Russia, and they're still stuck on summer blend, and not the less viscous winter blend when it gets cold. So they're going to be running some hardships here. They're not going to be able to move food around the country. They're not going to be able to move products around the country. They're not going to be able to move people around the country. The Ukrainians have wiped out 13% of oil capacity, of refining capacity, in just the last 7 days. A couple weeks ago, a report came out that Russia had about 50 days left at the current barrage rate of fuel before they just run out. And it just started dumping out there. Oh my goodness. It's like sunny and beautiful all day. Now it's just like kaboom. So yeah, that's a bummer for Russia, huh? All they have to do is just stop invading. Anyway, skirt X2. What's up, HW? Happy birthday. What do you think is a better strategy? One, buy $10,000 worth of shares before warrant issuance, or buy warrants when issued? I am buying all warrants. The way I see it is you buy $10,000 in shares and you get 10% more in warrants because you're going to get that 1 for 10, right? But if you buy $10,000 in warrants, you're going to end up with 2,000 warrants out of that rather than 500 shares plus 50 warrants. So you get, 2,000 warrants out of that's the equivalent of 2,000 shares if the price spikes really, really high, or like maybe 1,500 shares if the price spikes really high. So I think you come out in the end. That's betting on that Ryan Cohen's going to let this thing rocket and not let this like expire into nothing because they want to raise the money, right? That's right. So I'm taking my meager cash I have and I'm spending it all on warrants. I've got a couple thousand shares. That's what I've got. I would like to double that with warrants if I can. I'm not going to. But they'll get like maybe 500 if I'm lucky. I'd be happy with that if I can get 500 warrants out of that. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing there. Skirt X2, or it's skirt times 2. 2 wheels going skirt. Yeah. Lyco Crypto is in first with Rocktober. It is Rocktober. It was October 1st. Yes. Kelly Reed, happy birthday, HW. So government shutdown. U.S. lost 32,000 private sector jobs September. Reverse repo hits 10 billion. Everyone seems to be winning lately. Oh, and they revised the job numbers for August to minus 3,000. So we lost 3,000 jobs nationally in August. So I think we are basically contracting at this point. We still have like all these really great Q2 numbers from everyone that bought all their products during Q1 to avoid tariffs, just selling and making profit. But remember all these like really good Q2 numbers, they're all coming with these caveats. They're like, this isn't normal. This has to do with tariffs. So, yeah. And the government shutdown. So the last time we had a government shutdown, I think we lost about 10% on the Dow from that. That was when Trump was trying to get his tax cuts through. And look how great that worked out. And Gotta read also, anyone notice the 10 million deep in the money calls today? Juicy. That's the juicy stuff, man. That's what caused, I think, the spike in price. Stock price went up about $1 on GME. Very juicy. Perhaps some big players are playing. T-Ferg, third. GDC, fourth. First Day Productions. With Promise, Spyware, Palantir, and other data collection software, Epstein and Maxwell were becoming expendable. Maxwell doesn't have long, in my opinion. She still got names, man. So if she has a dead man switch on those things, she might be able to do without it. If I were her, I would have a dead man switch somewhere. I would have, you know, an envelope that goes to someone big in the journalism. I don't know, Ken Klippenstein or something. And you know, if you disappear, that envelope goes out. Ken gets all the stuff. And what's crazy thing is that if you know you're going to die and you're giving testimony, the testimony has to be accepted by the court as truth. The weird little precedent there is. But basically, if someone knows they're going to die, why would they lie? It's basically the court's ruling on that. So, Basat Baman, 15 so bad. GME $15 calls for January look very interesting. Yes. $15. Is that what the $10 million bought? And very well, sub BBBY. The sub BBBY is the HBC case being dismissed with prejudice. Now, the estate can file an appeal. I don't know why they would. It seems to me that they went through the motions. They're required to try and claw back money. They did what they're supposed to, and they were presented with information that was like, oh shit, well, should have done that. And now we're going to wait and see what happens with the Ryan Cohen case. Colin, I see GME still moving after hours and test $28. Wormfall. First, since no one claimed it yet. Haha. Technicality. Ford ZZ9. Any good news on the BBY front? HBC case. First Day Productions. Was that Reddit post you put up real how it was? What? Was that Reddit post your put up real? How it was. How it was. Reframe that one for me and then ask me again. GDC. Lock of the month. We get paid October 14th because I need the money October 13th. There you go. See, that'll do it. Your bad luck will help us all out there in the next 2 weeks. First Day Productions. This whole Charlie Kirk thing has to be a psyop to keep the right and left fighting. Who do you think is pulling the levers? I think the Republicans desperately wanted to make like an Antifa boogeyman. And they will do whatever it takes to make that happen. And they know that the first information that hits people's eyeballs is the stuff they remember, even if it's fake. And so that every time there's a mass shooting, they're going to say it's a trans person, it's Antifa, it's whatever. And that's what's going to stick in the minds of the moronic majority. And so it's going to be really hard to deprogram them of that, because every single time they do it, it comes out that people have no connection to the left wing. They're not on leftist sites. They're Trump followers. They're super MAGA. They're, groypers or boogaloo boys or whatever. And that's what happens. But the thing is that most people don't have the attention span to... They read the front page, but the day later, when it's all corrected on the 5th page, they don't read that. And that's kind of humanity. So their entire goal is to foment this rage against a boogeyman that doesn't exist. Basically, they have these accelerationists going out there causing these horrific, basically terrorist events, and then they use it as like a false flag to do things like send the military into cities, have ICE everywhere. I don't know if you've seen how many American citizens have been constantly detained by ICE. In Chicago, they raided an apartment building, arrested everyone. Everyone in the building were American citizens. You want to know why? Because it was Section 8 housing. You have to be an American citizen to qualify for it. And so they arrested everybody, men, women, children, everyone, detained them for hours and released them all because they were all citizens. It is against the law for ICE to detain citizens. That is not part of their purview. They're only allowed to question you if you are a citizen or not. And if you are not a citizen, then they can detain and arrest you. They're not allowed to do anything to American citizens, especially if they prove their citizenship. So it's just one giant violation of the law after another. And then we've got a Supreme Court who won't do shit about it. Because they're rubber stamping everything this authoritarian does. And that's where we are. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's a psyop from that side, trying to brainwash everybody thinking it's someone else doing it. Walter Estrada, the BBY saga was represented on a 12-hour clock. What time would it be based on everything that is happening to date? Kind of like Doomsday Clock. I think it would be 11:55 p.m., just like the Doomsday Clock, it'll be stuck there for 60 years. Michael O'Hara. Next bunch hydrocarbons, SEC comments were finally resolved. What comes next? I don't know. As people sent me some tweet that was like, there's going to be an investigation of Gary Gensler and, the IT communications, blah, blah, blah. Who's going to do the investigating? They're firing everybody at the SEC. They're getting rid of the CAT system. They're basically making it so it's, a free-for-all for all the monsters of crime. So I don't know what's going to happen with anything with NextBridge. I think NextBridge needs more court rulings to make the SEC do things. Kelly Reed, the Department of Veteran Affairs sent out an email to all veterans saying the Democrats are working against the interests of America. Propaganda on New Scale is a straight-up violation of the Hatch Act. They are not allowed to do that. That is a crime. And I hope that there's someone in the Democratic Party who can rise to leadership who's petty enough to be recording all these crimes and who does it, so that when they're in power, they can arrest all of them. Striker 747. Where will they get money if Jimmy Moas? From the guys who are already rich. That's the whole transfer of wealth part. You have these chains of liability, right? Talked about this years ago. You have margin. So you have a chunk of collateral you use and you borrow against it. And you borrow way more than what that chunk of collateral is. But the idea is you're going to fuck it up so bad that you won't be able to have some of that collateral cover things if you have a miss. And you'll have to borrow like 30 to 1. So if you have $1 billion in collateral, you can borrow $30 billion and make plays with it, which is insane. But if you fail, they sell off your collateral. Okay, there goes 1/30 of whatever your liabilities are. And then the bank, the prime lender, the prime broker who lent you the money to make those plays, they're now on the hook for the other $29 billion. So when Archegos went under, there's 5 different investment banks that lent Bill Hwan money, and a couple of them got out early and they were okay. Other ones like Credit Suisse and Nomura, not doing so hot. They're having a rough time. They've got billions and billions and billions of dollars in liability that they can't do anything about because they're stuck with these short positions. So Credit Suisse went under. UBS took them over. Now UBS is stuck with this poisonous, like filth, this rotten apple in its barrel. If that fails, you have insurance basically of the membership of the DTCC. And those folks will have to bail each other out accordingly. But you have some of the big players are leaving or have left. I think JP Morgan pulled out and became their own clearinghouse for a lot of this stuff, so they don't have to be liable for other people's problems. And after that, what you have is you've got the bailouts of the banks themselves, which is the U.S. Treasury. The U.S. government goes, oh, everything's fucked up. We need liquidity passed through the market or all we're going to die. And they just dump a bunch of money in the banks. The banks finish off paying off their liabilities, and they go from there. All of 2008. So that's more or less the chain of events, the insurance, as it were, that everyone is going to have to rely upon if MOAS happens. So, there you go. Oh, my mouse. Okay. Turkish. Excuse me. Happy birthday, Monkey Butt. Monkey Butt needs twice as much of that Stanley treat, I think means stanky treat, as yesterday. What's up with GME and BBBY? Stanky treat? Does someone say stanky treat? Is there a stanky treat dog around here? The dog wants some stanks. Some stanky treats. Whew, it's not as bad as the beef ones. The beef ones were like, chicken's a little milder. Still got some pungent to it though. Alright, stankers. Where are you? Where's my monkey dog? Oh, she's trying to come over here? She's trying to right there? That monkey dog? Yeah. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Oh, nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom. Okay. I feel like this chat isn't... Oh, I didn't put on live chat. Dang it. That would help. I also didn't put on multi-stream. So multi-stream's on, live chat's on. Need some more? Yeah, want another one? That work for you? Oh, nom, 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 nom. There we go. Okay, happy dog. All right. Where am I? Did that one. Did Turkish. ECB. Not so sad to see Overstock go. Marcus Lemonoir. Looks absolutely desperate with warrant dates. Will trick retail to think new ticker is butterfly, and they pile in. I mean, that seems kind of what they're doing. It makes sense if there was a butterfly transaction and that they actually do absorb the estate so that all those legacy holders get something of it. I don't know, because right now it's causing lots of confusion. I get messages from people who watch the show quite frequently. We talked about this, that Beyond becoming BBBY is not BBYQ becoming BBBY. And they're like, my broker still says my shares are gone. Yes, they are. Your shares are gone. What we're hoping for is that there's an acquirer. There's somebody acquiring the estate of DK Butterfly, the former Bed Bath & Beyond. And that in that acquiring, they want the net operating losses, the nulls. And if they want that, they have to give you shares in their company. So your former BBYQ shares that have been removed and are being held by the estate will then become the shares in whatever the acquiring company is. So if it's GameStop doing it, you would get GameStop shares. You get 1-for-1 GameStop shares for those. And then GameStop gets to utilize however much in nulls there are to not pay taxes for 10 to 100 years, depending on how much there is. So that's what we're waiting on. Oh, it's taking forever. Anywho. Kelly Reed, Canada Housing. We no longer build what people can afford. Vancouver sits with 2,500 condos unsold. Well, those will get sold eventually because they're going to go into foreclosure and they're going to get auctioned off. So if you got some cash on hand, you might be able to get some of those condos for cheap, right? Canada has multiple problems. And I think the biggest problems of Canadian real estate comes from foreign investment who want to get their money into a hard currency environment out of, some warlord, gangster, whatever, someone from overseas who doesn't want their currency to be in whatever third world country they're from. And they take that money, they're from China or Saudi Arabia or wherever, and they dump it into real estate and it sits empty. So it takes up all these condos and homes all over these major metropolitan areas. And once those filled up, you started to see insane growth in the price of homes in rural areas of Canada. Well, my brother moved to Halifax. What was that, 2016, 2017, sometime in there. A waterfront home, beautiful surf break, waterfront home there was like 199,000 Canadian. Now, let's look at Zillow. Let's find out what Zillow is showing those places for. Zillow.com. And I'm going to go to Nova Scotia. Okay. All right. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. That would help if I actually showed you what I'm doing here. Doing a whole show thing. Okay, so here we are. Halifax. I believe it was somewhere along here. One of these two spots where he was maybe out here. It was beachfront and there was a point that got waves from multiple angles. We'll try this one. Is there any homes along here? No homes on that one. Okay. Back up. Any homes along here? Here we go. There's some homes. That's not a home. That's a home. What are you? You got a price? Your big home. You got a price? No? Why don't you show me how? Why don't you show me prices on these things? Just ones for sale? These are $635 now. They're $635. When Waterfront was $199. This is corner lot to Waterfront. So yeah, the prices are basically up more than 3x since 2016 for this area. $321 for this guy. 2,000 square feet off market. What's your sales history? Property taxes, boom. Price history unavailable. So you don't have anything for me. It's just an estimate from the Zilla monsters. Looks like an old fort there. But yeah, it's the prices definitely in 700, 2.5 million. So yeah, the prices along these shorelines are definitely way higher than they were. 1.2 million. So yeah, it's bled out to other parts of Canada for sure. So the solution, in my opinion, is tax on empty homes. You do it in the United States, you do it in Canada. If a home is empty, give them one vacation home. Give people one vacation home that they can have empty most of the year and not lived in, right? And that can be whatever. If they've got a second home that's empty, well, you're gone. It must be occupied. You're going to pay a vacancy tax. And I think a vacancy tax, a very, 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 very painful vacancy tax will do it. A lot of people are very angry, like, oh, how dare you? But if you're buying up homes and it's just sitting empty when a roof over someone's head is a societal need, like a human being requires shelter, and you are making it impossible for them to get that shelter, then we're going to charge you an arm and a leg for having that house empty. Throughout the Vancouver metro area, there are huge number of homes and condos being held by basically triads that are empty. And then they did like a 1% tax on empty homes, and it caused some of those places to fill up with like college students who are renting them and stuff. But it's not enough. Others just see like, 1%, whatever. That's, I'm gaining 15% a year on my property's value, so who cares? And they'll pay it. So make it more painful. Make it a 50% tax. You bought a home for $1 million and it sits empty, you're gonna pay $500,000 that year for it being empty. Make it gradual. So if it sits empty for 2 years consecutively, you're gonna pay 2 times that. You're gonna pay $1 million. You're gonna pay 100% tax. And if it sits 3 years, you're gonna pay 1,500% or whatever. I don't know. Just make it painful. Make it so that these homes go to people who need roofs over their heads and don't just sit in the bank accounts basically of gangsters, because that's what happens a lot through there. ECB did that one, did the Canada one. Striker 747. I always look forward to watching Houston and the gang on YouTube. Well, welcome aboard. First Day Productions, by the way. The spyware that collects all our data. It would be easy to pull several candidates like Crooks or Robinson. Hell, you and I are for sure in certain profiles. Max Military, Anti-Bush, Vocal. I'm sure that continues. Does it First Day Productions? I don't see it if it does. But yeah. Oh, I'm definitely in a file somewhere. There's no doubt about that. I've probably been reported by my stalker like 500 times the FBI. He's got nothing better to do with his life. But, right, Monkey? Yeah. Monkey's like, I've got a file. I'm on YouTube all the time. Michael Harrow, can the SEC approve the next bridge hydrocarbons S1 during government shutdown? No. They cannot. Because it's not considered... what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Non-expendable, whatever they call it. So yeah, no, they won't be able to do that. Investigations will stop. All sorts of things will happen. ECB. What's the deal with HBC case? They had over 9.9% ownership, and somehow the estate has lost out on $300 million. Well, the estate was claiming the HBC violated the 9.9% call. So they had signed an agreement saying they would never try to own more than 9.9%, and they acquired something like 700 million shares through these warrants, right? And that pushed them way over. And HBC was arguing, no, we were just a proxy for someone else. That was our argument. Not us. We just were the facilitator. We had options. We had access to these warrants. Someone else gave us money. We bought the warrants and gave it to them. Or either we bought the warrants and we're holding it for them. One or the other. And it appears that that argument, based upon whatever sealed evidence came from the other lawsuit, was what happened. And so HBC is now off the hook, according to the courts. Case dismissed. So, yeah. Corp Walnut, which planet and solar system would you go panning or digging for rocks? This one. To get good rocks, good mineralization, you need plate tectonics and water. And we're the only ones that have plate tectonics and water. So I would pick this one. I'm sure if you could dig deep enough into Venus or Mercury, which have really large cores, you could find some nice heavy metals and whatnot. But in order to get really good crystallization, you need plate tectonics and water. And this is the one. This is the place, man. Other than that, asteroids. Former iron nickel core asteroids. Get cool stuff out of. King Ding Dong, Houston. Do you think Trump staged his assassination for the picture? I don't think they could pull it off, but it seems like something he would not stop talking about. It's very interesting that he has a decades-long feud with Rosie O'Donnell and wants to strip her of her citizenship. And yet he doesn't mention the kid who tried to kill him ever. It's very odd. And the kid was a terrible shot. What information we did get was he was on like the rifle team at his high school, and everyone was like, he sucked. He loved guns, but he was terrible at them. So I guess if you want to do an assassination attempt on a president that won't be successful, you pick the kid who can't hit the broadside of a barn and have him do it. I don't know. The whole thing is really sketchy. It's as if everyone just stopped investigating. They're like, oh, well, that's that. It seems weird to me. It seems very weird to me. Plus, his ear, if he had gotten hit with a 5.56 round, 2.26 round, would be gone. I mean, I don't know if you've seen what a bullet traveling 3,000 feet per second can do, but it wouldn't be just like this little thing of blood. At best, he got hit with something else, with shrapnel from something else. Because anything that hit his cartilage, that cartilage would be gone. And his ear is perfect. It's not scarred. There's no cartilage missing. Once you fuck up cartilage, it's fucked up for good. Well, I think people have cauliflower ear, right? The ear of Vander Holyfield never grew back. So yeah, I don't think Trump... I think if anything, Trump got hit with shrapnel, or when he got tackled by one of his Secret Service people, like, their gun or something hit him in the ear and gave him a little cut. I think that's about it. GDC, what do you think Ryan Cohn gives out to trick-or-treaters on Halloween? Toothbrushes, coins, or raisins? My personal bet is beef bouillon cubes, so he can trick kids into thinking they're candy. Oh, man. What he'll do is he'll give you a certificate good for a beef bouillon cube if beef bouillon cubes suddenly go to like $4 a cube. That's what he'll give out. And it expires in a year. I would love to know which impurity or incrundum creates your personal favorite hue. Do you know corundum is a sapphire and ruby? Now it comes anything that's like reddish pink to red is a ruby, and all other colors are sapphires. I think cobalt hues, which I believe are where a cashmere blue comes from, are absolutely gorgeous. I think it's cobalt. I really like sort of manganese iron in lighter kind of neon colored rubies. One went out in the very failed treasure hunt. I had about 6 carat, beautiful natural Myanmar ruby, just beautiful fire in it. I do like weird color ones, like yellow sapphires are pretty cool looking. Green ones aren't. I mean, you can get some nice ones, but usually I haven't seen really very good green ones. I prefer, I like the strong reds and the strong blues that make ideal sapphires and ideal rubies. But their sister stone, spinels, I like the range of colors that come out of spinels even more. They're sister stones, not in that they're related chemically to each other at all. It's just that for thousands of years, people dug up spinels and thought they were rubies and sapphires. And so they went by this market. They were all rubies and sapphires. And then in the 1800s, when people started doing, science on minerals, discovered, they're two separate stones. And so they arbitrarily chose corundum to be rubies and sapphires, which had thousands of years of marketing, and all these other stones, spinels, to just be spinels. People are like, I don't know what a spinel is. Even though they're more rare and they've got cooler colors, like the coolest ones are probably Mahenge spinels. They're found in Tanzania. Mahenge spinel, and they got this like crazy fire to them. These guys here, and these through the right folks, they can be worth a lot of money, like $5,000-$10,000 a carat now. Gemstock, these are 5.65 carats, $18,000 for those. This is a really cool. This is probably my favorite color of any precious gemstone right here. This is the hue of that ruby that was in the Houston's Booty treasure. This must be a little guy. It's only $1,000. 1.41 carats. Yeah. So I like these a lot. And then like the cobalt blue spinels. Cobalt spinel. I like these blues as well. These ones are really good. So they're not actually rubies or sapphires, but for a long time they were thought to be the same stone. The famous ones of the spinels are known as the Balas rubies, which were mined likely up in like Turkmenistan and often polished in the rough, meaning they sort of took the edges and they smoothed them out, and they're owned by the Maharaja, the emperors in India. And each Maharaja, when they received the stones in inheritance, they would carve their name into it. So there's some really spectacular ones, like this guy here. You can see that it's hard to see in this picture right here, but the names of the various Maharaja who own this guy are in there. And some of these stones are gigantic, hundreds of carats in size and worth millions. The Black Prince ruby, which is the stone that was in the center of Queen Elizabeth's crown. It's a 96 carat Balas ruby. It's one of these. And it was basically stolen. I think it was a German prince who stole it from a Maharaja, and then the prince went to England and he was murdered for it, and then it went to the king, and it was King Richard? Oh shoot, which king was it? There was a battle in France, and the king had it on his crown, and he was cornered and a battle axe swung in his head and it bounced off the ruby and saved his life. So that's why it's in the center of the crown for Queen Elizabeth. And it was a 97 carat Balas ruby, one of these guys. Was it King Richard? Shit. I can't remember. I wrote a whole story about this. I don't know. I think they're the ones with the coolest history. There's the largest one of these is the Sumerian spinel, or the Sumerian ruby, which is held in the Persian crown jewels and it's polished in the rough like this. Maybe I can find a good picture of it here. Sumerian spinel. Oh, they don't have very good pictures, but it's the largest polished spinel in the world, polished in the rough, and it actually has a hole drilled through it. You can kind of see on the backside here. Come on, get big. Oh, that's a really tiny picture. There's a little tiny hole drilled through it, and the rumor, which I don't think was true, because I think these were mined in Turkmenistan or Tajikistan after the fact, but the legend is it was the gemstone that hung around the neck of the golden calf in the Bible, and it sits in the the Shah of Iran used to own all this stuff, and it probably came from the same area and from the Maharaja as well. But they're rad. They're the ones I like, and I'm not talking about spinel or sapphires and rubies at all. And I'm just talking about spinels, but I like spinels. I think they're cooler, more rare stone, and they have a lot more history to them than any rubies I can think of. Yeah, so there you go. All right, distracted me long enough. Jay Geyser. When going and showing stuff on the web, for example, GameStop options, can you get a clue and zoom in? As simple as holding down the control key and scrolling. Oh, sorry. Well, I mean, the problem with that is, so if I do this, right, I do control key and I scroll up and I make it nice and big, is I'm stuck with like old man viewing later, and then I got to go back and like reset the whole thing. I know, it's a pain in the ass for me, it's a pain in the ass for you, but here you go. There's a hole drilled into that stone right there. Ta-da! All right. Deal with it. All right. Jason Blackwell, hey Jason. I'm a bad guy. Last night I broke into a pharmacy and stole all the Viagra. I'm a real hardened criminal. Okay. Snurler, well, Houston, did you watch Babylon 5 already? Why not? I have not watched Babylon 5 already. Wrong conclusion. GameStop's at $27.93 as I write this. It's at 501. What is GME? It is 28.04. It broke 28. It's an after hours. Hot damn. It's at 28.04 right now. Woo! This is up 76 cents on the day. Not too shabby. It's about 3%, right? Man. Got good gains on some of these options today. Nice job, everybody. Martha Jackson. I heard the generals meeting cost taxpayers $6 million. Great use of money. Sarcasm put on thick. Yeah. I mean, here's what I think. I think they'll take the video and photographs of the reactions of the generals to the meeting, right? And the ones who like put their face in their palms, rolled their eyes, joked to their neighbors or whatever, those guys are gonna get shit canned, and they're gonna put some sort of loyalist from the either the captains or the colonels in there, who would not otherwise pass muster to be promoted to such a rank, and they're going to replace them. I understand having fitness in soldiers. I get it. There are fitness requirements to do certain tasks. If you are an infantryman, right, you need to be able to carry your pack, haul your buddies out, carry weapons, go for days at a time, hiking, whatever, sleeping in your clothes, sleeping on hard floors, eating MREs, doing that whole thing. If you are a jet pilot, you need to be able to withstand G-forces, etc. If you're a Navy SEAL, you need to be able to do all sorts of badass stuff and carry equipment and dive underwater or jump from airplanes and do it. I get it. But there are also jobs in the military that do not require those things. And people who have fantastic skills that may never meet those requirements. We're moving into a realm of drone warfare. And there are drone operators, overweight housewives, skinny autistic gamer kids who have 400 plus kills flying drones in combat. They're becoming the deadliest fighting force basically in history. And these folks probably would not pass requirements, fitness requirements that Hegseth wants. And on top of that, you have a whole bunch of badass Marines, Russian Marines, who are like, all they do is work out and get in fights and whatever, who have just been atomized by these drones. So you can talk all you want about fitness this, fitness that, fitness this, but if it comes down to a drone does not care if you are 6'5", 270 pounds of solid muscle. It's still going to turn you into absolute goo. And the cat's down yelling at the door. One second. Come on, dummy. Get in here. Come on. I'll close the door if you don't. All right, there you go. See, you can do it. You can do it. Oh, geez, you are so wet. Oh my God, don't touch me. You are soaking. You can see him glistening in the camera. Yeah. Ugh. No, you've been out in that downpour, dude. Leave me alone. Don't use me to dry off. You're so gross. Why would anyone let you in? Just wait until it gets sunny again and then let you in after that. Oh. Just dripping. Yeah, just make everything wet over here. All right. Don't touch me. Blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it costs millions of dollars to tell them to shave and work out. Alex Bishop says, hi, everyone. King Ding Dong, remember to send Houston your free Prime sub if you got one. Free Prime sub? Prime sub? People game Prime subs? Joe Finero, did you buy more GME? I did not. I'm waiting for options. Or for warrants, sorry. Dude. Poor Zach thing is just getting destroyed. Great Knowles, Houston, happy birthday. I'm torn with wanting to leave out of the country for a better life, and at what point do you think the United States will present that opportunity? I mean, it comes down to refugee status or getting out ahead of the storm, I think. And if you're a refugee, you're poor as shit, and you're gonna be depending on the goodwill of others. I want to get paid so that I have the luxury of bailing. I read an article today about Shakira. You know, she went through a divorce because her husband's a loser and cheated on her. You know, Shakira, if you're watching, I won't do that to you. And she's like, you know, I live in the United States. I am a foreigner on visa or green card or whatever. And I'm scared about ICE. And people are like, well, you're $4 million, bitch, why don't you just leave? And she has the power to. If she wants, she can go back to Spain. She can go to Venezuela. She can go wherever she wants. She's rich. She's got the power to do that. I think folks still have hope that something good will happen. I don't have that hope at the moment. I'm pretty pessimistic. I think we've fallen down the rabbit hole too far. Oh my gosh, you're so wet. And I don't think we bounce back from it anytime soon. I think the Supreme Court really dropped the ball on their duty, on the checks and balances. And stop it. Stop drying yourself off on everything. Just stop. I'm going to put a glass case right here so that you can't do any of this crap. He's so wet. But yeah, the Supreme Court really failed in their duty and are refusing to do any check. They ruled today that in their little shadow docket, without any precedent being stated ever, that Donald Trump can fire anyone from the Fed board he wants whenever he wants, which is not the point of any of the legislation happening there. So stop being a wet slime ball. Go over here. You can go in this and be dry right there. Yes, that's a good spot for you. Okay. He's like, what the fuck? Yeah. So anyway, Shakira, if you want to get me out of here, age appropriate. Come on. Oh, you're so wet. Just don't. Just like it's like I'm being like snuggled by just a towel that fell in the bathtub or something. Okay. Joe Finero, Jimmy price action in the after hours. Mulek Woolhead. So I have two $25 contracts for October 17th, three $24 contracts for January 2026. So I'll get 50 warrants for these. You will get 20. Yeah, you'll get, if you exercise them. If you exercise them, you'll get 50 warrants out of that. Yes. King Ding Dong. I put 500 in BBY for shits and giggles, and I think I'm still up. Nice. Ian, after hours don't matter. That's also true. Dave Wright, I'm about 4 minutes behind, but the stream seems to be working fine. Good. It looks like my higher definition came back. I was in, at least on my side, it looked like I was in that filter they put on Elizabeth Taylor back in the day when she got older. Oh, skirt. Skirt times 2. Skirt. Okay, I get it. Skirt x2. The filthiness. Doggy in a blanket. I know. It's serious. Chris Taylor's 8 minutes late. Well, that's all right. I'm now 40 minutes late getting to the chat. Chris Taylor. How you digging your new place now that you've been there for a while now? All unpacked, settled? Mostly unpacked and settled. I still have giant boxes in a spare room that I have not touched. And you know, like the procrastination monster gets you and you will do anything except the task at hand. It's like that with me. And it's where those boxes contain all the stuff I'm supposed to ship out. I can't even bring myself to like open the door to that room and do anything about it. It is like, it to me, it's like the most impossible task to like gear myself up to do. So just pay me, Ryan Cohen, pay me, and I will pay somebody to do it for me. Just, I can't even find, I don't even know what happened. I still have a whole bunch of Houston with Problem stickers that I should be giving out to you guys. I don't even know where they are. They're somewhere. I don't know. I don't know what, Kitty, I don't know what to do, you wet slime ball. Why are you licking yourself? You're just making yourself more wet at this point. I like the house. Still got a yard. It's nice. Chris Taylor. Let's do another one. Lucky Luciano. Do you really think the big billionaire players who control Republicans will pay up? It's not so much about paying up, so much as the people who lent them money don't want to be on the hook for it, and they'll extract as much as they can from those folks as they can. Remember, there's always someone above you who has more power, and if you fuck them over, they're going to get what they can out of you. Remember, Bernie Madoff's problem wasn't that he stole from poor people, it's that he stole from rich people. You can steal from poor people all day long, you'll get a slap on the wrist. You steal from rich people, that's when they're going to come for you. So if you make it so rich people are hurting, then the other rich people are going to get boned in that whole thing. Brandon M. Houston. I haven't been paying attention. What's the situation with the warrants if your shares are in computer share? As far as I know, you receive the warrants, and I think you can only exercise the warrants. You can't trade them or transfer them. So if you get the warrants in your computer share account, you wouldn't be able to transfer them, say, to your Fidelity account and do stuff with them there. So you will have to come up with the cash to be able to exercise those warrants. So you may be forced to sell your GME shares you have currently locked up in computer share, use that cash to get warrants out of it if you want to exercise them. I don't think anything's changed with computer share on that one. Someone might be able to show me wrong. Where else am I? Where am I, Kitty? Dig to doink. Muley, only if you exercise your calls. Oh yeah, asking about you have to exercise the calls to get the warrants. The God Emperor 41K. Brandon, you should get the warrants, but I don't know if they do warrants there. But if they do, you should get them. You'll get the warrants. I don't think they can trade them, but you can't exercise. And Lucky Giano, besides GME in 2021, I don't think any big players have covered their shorts since. I don't think they covered the shorts with GameStop either. They all doubled down, and especially with like AMC, they're able to like get so many of those ape shares, get them converted into AMC shares, and now I think AMC has to shoot up to like $230 in order to put the folks who are short on them underwater, thanks to the reverse split. Yeah, Horkin? Are you Horkin? Are you Horkin Dorkin? Yeah. Wet. Gross. I'm gonna like change my shirt. Dang, oneness. I missed some. How the super chats? So slap me in the face. Super chats just showed up. I apologize. Anyone that says 3.25 million for Graham Plattner is batshit insane, and I am here for it. All in 6 weeks. It's the voice, dope. He is a harbor master. Wait, what? Graham Plattner. Graham Plattner. Oh, he's the dude. He's the dude running for in Maine. Okay. All right. Yeah. He's way ahead of Susan Collins right now, and I think he's got it. Yeah, he's a harbor master. He's a veteran. He's very plain spoken, and he has people excited in Maine to vote for him. So, bye, Susan Collins, and your wishy-washy like, well, I really hope they do the right thing, and they never do. To anyone else also, Rock God, could you please do an episode in Lang Belta one day? In Lang Belta. Is that Maine? Belter Creole. Oh! It's the Belter Creole that was in The Expanse. I think all I have to do is just be Afrikaner and speak English. And then that's the Lang Belter Creole. Because in the show, it was basically that. It was just a whole bunch of like Afrikaners speaking English. Yeah. I thought like in Lang Belter is like, because you're talking about Maine. I thought it was like, is there a place called Lang Belter, Maine? Okay. So did that one. Did God Emperor one. Did that Lucky Luciano one. Lucky Luciano, do you know that in order to qualify for Section 382 I-5, the new owner can only bring the qualified creditors and not necessarily the old shareholders, so why would they bring us along? It depends upon how badly you want to screw over the shorts. So let's say Ryan Cohen did capture the Knowles, right? And all he did was he paid off all of the creditors, and it was enough that it took care of everything, and he did not give anything to the shareholders. He will lose probably 1 million investors in GameStop. They'll be like, fuck you, I'm out. So, if Ryan Cohen wants to have investors who are indebted to him for life, he will bring us along. Because he's all about bringing value to shareholders. And if he's stealing value from shareholders, well, then he's not your guy. You will create a whole bunch of enemies. And you don't want to create a whole bunch of enemies who are going to protest your stores because we're crazy people. Right? Don't shop at GameStop. They screw over retail shareholders. Rah! You know, let's see him marching in his little towns about pissed off. And then all the news is going to be about what a piece of shit Ryan Cohen is. And you don't want that. You don't want to chance that. You want to make loyal shareholders who will go with you to the ends of the earth. And yeah, he might make a quick buck out of it, but long term, very, very short sighted. So yeah, like with the Hertz deal, the shareholders went from owning 100% of the company to owning 3% of the company, but their shares still rocketed to $40-something a share in that. I don't care if we're left with 3%. I don't care. As long as my shares are worth significantly more than the 25 cents average that I paid for them. So, yeah, bring it on, man. Bring it on. Gabriel Lockwood, Jacob, happy birthday, son, and happy government shutdown day. Lissai. Yeah. I can do a couple more, and then I got to run away because my mom invited me over for dinner. And food that I don't cook is my favorite food. Essential. Thank you. Oh, I couldn't think of essential. The word essential. I was like, ooh, I knew it started with an E. I'm sundowning already. Gabriel Lockwood, the Bitcoin is moving funny. We go on CDC? I don't think so. But Bitcoin's going to do weird things. The market's going to do weird things in the next couple of days. Because if the shutdown looks like it's going to carry on, the market isn't going to be able to keep doing it as well. And MT asks, Houston, what do you know about Sincera? Apparently Trump signed it, and it will restore the original 13th Amendment, a.k.a. the Titles of Nobility Amendment. I don't think you can sign the original 13th Amendment and have it work without, 3/4 of the states also getting on board. Sincera original 13th Amendment. So the original 13th Amendment was never passed. And all right, National Constitution Center. All right. A few years ago, a group of Iowa Republicans claimed the legitimate 13th Amendment of the Constitution was missing. The debate is part of a historical detective story with some surprising twists that is still taking place. The Daily Beast did a fairly extensive feature on the missing amendment in 2010, which didn't feature the cloaked Freemasons stealing the amendment because it had a secret treasure map printed on it. Instead, the debate between historians and conspiracy buffs is about the amendment that was almost ratified in 1812 that would have been the 13th Amendment, bumping back the current 13th Amendment, which was ratified in 1865, and abolished slavery, to the position of the 14th Amendment. Jerry Adler explanation of the 13ers controversy is pretty detailed and covers both sides of the issue, which isn't new, but got big bursts of publicity thanks to the Iowa GOP's 2010 platform. Our Republicans didn't want the current 13th Amendment ban. They just wanted the original one reintroduced for approval. That missing proposal was called the Titles of Nobility Amendment, or TONA. It sought to ban the American citizen from receiving any foreign title of nobility or receiving foreign favors such as pension without congressional approval. The penalty was loss of citizenship. It was an extension of Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution, which doesn't allow a public office holder to receive foreign title or similar honors without the consent of Congress. Today, the constitutional controversy about the royals may seem kind of silly, but in 1812, the United States was fighting the British and had a rocky relationship with France. The fear of both nations using noble titles as bribes, along with pensions from foreign government, was persistent, and both the Senate and the House easily passed the TONA and passed on to states. By 1812, a total of 12 states had approved the 13th Amendment. Ironically, it needed the 13th state to become ratified. As the War of 1812 escalated, the TONA faded away as an issue that was never ratified. I think if you are an office holder in the United States, you probably shouldn't be a dual citizen, especially at the federal level. I think you probably shouldn't be able to receive money of any kind from overseas. So, if you had hotels in Armenia or, Abu Dhabi or whatever, you wouldn't be able to take that income in. I think it's one of those things, if Trump signed it and it became, an amendment somehow, it would hurt him the most. But then the Supreme Court would be like, well, it affects everybody except for him because he's the God King. And that's kind of, I think, how it will go there, MT. I dig doink rocks in October. All right. Video brand, I don't think physical ability is a problem in the armed forces. If you can't do what they need, they boot you. Yeah. One of the reasons why physical requirements have been lowered over the years is because they cannot attract enough people to join the military. They just can't. They're not meeting their requirements. So they're taking ASVAB scores that are detrimentally low. And well, at least you can move this rock from over there to over there or something. There's still elites that join the military, still people that are fantastic athletes, got big old brains, go to the academies, etc. But you need a lot of grunts, and even the grunts are getting dumber and dumber. So, yeah. Okay, well, I gotta get going. I will see you guys later, and we'll do a show tomorrow. Yeah, you think? Whoosh, headbutt you. All right, soaking wet sponge cat. Old one. Bing. Oh, did I miss super chat? Oh shit! I did miss super chat. No. Okay, Stephanie L. I apologize. 1,000,000,000,000,000,000 apologies. I get yakking. I didn't see super chat pop up. I'll do a super chat and then I'll go away. Hey, just for educational purposes, does this sound like a wise plan? I want to invest about $1,000 into warrants, buy them, and then wait until GME stock is squeezed and exercise. Yes, that's exactly how warrants should be done. Being as someone who doesn't have giant piles of cash, I would buy as many warrants as I can, wait for the price to go crazy high, at least twice what the strike price is, right? So if it gets to $64, I can sell half of my warrants, bloop, and then exercise, say 250 of them, have 250 more shares. That's my goal. If it goes even higher than that, it goes 3 times the price, I can sell off a third of them, etc. And we're gonna be good, right? Right, Monkey? Yeah, Monkey's like, I think you said we're going to dinner now. So now I'm going bye-bye. All right. Now I'm gonna click the button and say just